So today I'm going to have a quick conversation in and around the changes and the new directions for Ikara, how we work with Iboga, and a lot to do with who Melinda and I are as people, and how this path has unfolded into a pathless land. For it's important when you're considering Iboga treatment that you are going somewhere where the people are doing the work, and also that you know that you're going to be well received and learn something about yourself. Often we find, and this is very important now, I want to highlight this, we find a great majority, and perhaps all of the people offering Iboga in the West have come to Iboga because of some malady, something they wanted to fix about themselves. They were inadequate, inferior, and they become a Ganga, or they become a provider, or whatever they want to call themselves, which is all irrelevant. They become something because they're searching. They're searching. Why are they searching? They continue to work with Iboga because they search. They came to Iboga because they had problems. They were hoping that by providing Iboga that they would alleviate their own problems. And to a degree they will temporarily. But this is what we must highlight. At Ikara, Melinda and I did not come to Iboga because we were in some state of dis-ease. We did not come searching for answers, for we already knew what they were. It's a very different direction for you to consider. What does it mean for someone that already knows the art form of mind to work with Iboga and Bwete? One can go and become initiated by any numerous agency in Gabon. You can be initiated into all forms of Bwete by paying. And you can assume whatever they tell you, but you need to ask yourself strong questions as to why you're doing that. For if you don't already know firmly that you don't need Iboga and you don't need Bwete, if you truly knew this, that changes the direction as to why you would work within a spirituality and why you would be qualified to work with people who are searching. The idea of Iboga and Bwete is to stop the search, to rectify the seeming illusion that you are fragmentary and become whole. That's why the process of Bwete and Iboga is inseparable. People that go and become a Ganga or work with Iboga and want to give you Iboga are still searching. If you're still searching, you haven't figured that you are God already. That means the person that's providing you Iboga doesn't know what it is. And they will continue this way for 40, 50 odd years, never knowing. Because they came through tragedy. They're trying to alleviate their tragedy. Iboga is not necessary for you to find out who you are. That is not what it is. It is a tool that accelerates one's connection to God. And when one comes in with the knowledge that they are already what they are, they know what they are, how does that look for them working with this? In Melinda and I, how is it? How is it that I've come to work with these great spiritual teachers in this village? Because they recognize this. Iboga and Bwete is a double-edged sword. You have the surface understandings of Bwete, of which I'm talking about, the people that will continually use all the processes of Bwete but never understand that they are what it is. Then the underside, where you know what it is, and then you further the connection to God. That's a different thing altogether. At Ikara, working with Mboka Azambe, we are firmly in the tradition, in the knowledge that each one of us is inseparably and indelibly linked to God and is God. And we live in the illusion when we're in dis-ease. There is only one premise to all of this. There are people offering you today, if you look at their situations, all of them, if they're still searching in any shape, way and form, they do not understand. If they're promoting Iboga as the only answer to you, finding your mind, they do not understand. They'll never understand Bwete. Very important topics. When someone comes and they already understand they don't need Iboga and Bwete, they can assume the true teachings of Bwete, of God. Ikara offers the opportunity to come to experience Iboga. This is our whole duty here. To come and experience Iboga, to be introduced to your mind. An introduction to how the mind functions, how it thinks, how it operates, how it is made up as a matrix of ideas that are already existent in reality. We need to know how it functions to have order within the house, which is our psyche, before we can even qualify to go to Africa and look into something like being initiated. That's just running. No matter what you initiate to and learn, you still will be in as the belief or under the belief that this has the answer, which means you don't understand it. The introduction to Iboga and Bwete through this process and learning what our mind is then brings us into a closer connection with self, which brings us closer to God, and then truly a more of an understanding as to whether we need to continue the search. The end game is that the search must stop, because that comes from the realization that you are already everything that you could ever be. My teachers, I did not go and pay and ask to go to. They selected me. They asked me to come because I have this understanding. I know there isn't any search. I'm not searching by coming to Iboga. I'm not searching to make more money from someone coming here. I don't have any agenda. Love and compassion can only be understood from a clear slate of no agenda. The people offering you Iboga today, I've watched it. They put an eye mask on you. They play you music that's not even from their temples. It's downloaded off YouTube, no matter what they say. Sometimes these people, they don't even know what they're initiated into. Hypothetically, they're initiated into Nagonde Natapuma, for instance, and the next minute they're playing you Fang music or they're playing you Dasumba music. They wouldn't know. They don't know, including the people I've worked with most recently. They might say, how is this important? It's highly important, and it's highly disrespectful to the culture. This has become really like a pantomime, a play. It's all full of agenda. That's what I'm saying. A person with no agenda that knows they're already connected and merges with Bwete is learning something very different. They are removing the debris of the psyche to become ever closer to God and feel the joy without desire. To feel the instantaneous joy, the movement of God that is ever changing and can never be known. The immeasurable, we should say. That's true Bwete, experiential knowledge. Not divinatory arts, sitting here, hexing, cursing, hiding things, bone, necromancy and everything else. This is all rubbish. It's bullshit. And this is what's occurring in the West. Lie you down. This was all invented by one agency, this whole thing. And then they claim that it's Mabundi, a female's right. It's nothing to do with Mabundi lying down with an eye mask. What this is about you lying down and them charging you money. What we need to say here at Ikara, what we're saying to you is we are in full support and have the full support of our teachers and our village. And everybody participating is returning back to this state and the true state of Bwete. So that this is an introduction to mind. You come to understand how the mind functions before you move on to be cleaned and then understand whether you want to continue to work within something deep. Because no amount of wanting to be initiated or visit Africa or any of these things is going to clear up anything to do with you if you don't first know that you're the one that's creating reality. It's just going to give you another patch. And then you're going to walk around and say, I went to Africa and initiated. So what? In fact, that highly elucidates that you don't understand reality. And that's what these people are watching. So come to Iboga, where you're going to be given the opportunity to introduce yourself to your mind and travel through your own mind to learn its functionings and clear out this psychology, reap the benefits of the physicality in as a response of the introduction to mind, learn something of the mind's ability to overcome and direct and coordinate and calibrate the physical image, and move along. But just know one thing, there is no agenda with spirituality. And if there is, it becomes a system. And a system presupposes that it has an answer. And anything that has an answer is concluded and finished. And anything that's finished is not God. Be careful where we go. Be careful what we look at with Iboga. Be careful. There's not much true Bwete being offered at all. There isn't any. Any of this that's being offered at the moment is not. We need to make sure that we're really coming correct here. And what we're doing here at Ikara is offering you a capacity to travel through the mind, to learn and orientate towards the mind, and then offer you the opportunity to go a little bit deeper into a case of cleansing, being spiritually cleansed. But first you need to know how you work. This is like an extra or an auxiliary bridge to these processes that are in Africa. Very important to the Western mind. We come because of our maladies are so traumatic. Often there's deep traumas, there's addiction, affliction, different things. Getting into the mind and pulling everything out and processing this, and then looking for cleansing. This is an introduction. And what better way for you to come somewhere where the people understand this, and you're being watched and monitored, and then given an opportunity to go a little bit further down the track. And whilst doing so, you are contributing to a genuine Bwete village. You're returning to a place where we have orphanages, and we have other programs where we bring people in that are indigenous and marginalized within Gabon and bring them back, reorientate them with their native tongue, reorientate them with their initiatic processes, and give them purpose and meaning to their life before moving them back to their places, or they stay on in some capacity and working within the working village. This is a direct contribution. So once again, to reiterate, Melinda and I didn't come with an agenda. Spirituality cannot have an agenda. We're already settled. We already know that we don't need these particular paths, but these paths are doing something very specific to us. They're allowing a complete cleansing, a constant cleansing and connection through God's tool, which is Iboga, and through the practice of Bwete. It's a very different thing, but we already know that you don't need it. True Bwete is you don't need it, but you use it, because it's one of the things that we can use, and a very powerful thing at that. So look where we're going. That's what we do. We look and observe. Come somewhere so we can be introduced to the mind. The process of Iboga in the West is an introduction to how we think. For everything is thought, and everything that is thought is you, and everything is inseparable. And these are the processes of which bring a still mind. Once you know these things, you do not need protection. You're forever safe. So ask questions as to why we need what we need, or we think we need something. Ask questions. Why do we need Iboga? And then once we've decided, we ask the people offering Iboga, what is your story? What is your agenda? Why are you here? What got you here? Are you still searching? For if there's any inkling of search continuing with the person you're looking to go towards, that's a big red flag. Because they're using the practice and don't understand that the mind, whatever you believe is what you experience. If they're searching, they haven't found it, they haven't realized that they're already God, which means how can they offer you a tool that is God's? It's not possible. At Ikara, we understand these things, and we have the support of our great spiritual teachers. So grace to Teta Zamba Kana, thank you to Adamangana King, and all the people of Mboka Zambe. This is the beginning of a reorientation to the introduction to Iboga and to mind and to thought. Peace be with everybody. We seek brotherhood of man and equality for all. Peace be with you.